This baby right here has a high IQ, at least that's what scientists will think. No baldness, confirmed. Perfect pitch, not confirmed. And low risk of Alzheimer's disease and breast cancer. I wonder if this baby's a girl. And what is this type of baby called again? Designer babies. Today's question for a hot debate topic is, are designer babies the future? Let's get started. First of all, a little bit of history. You may have heard of this company called Fertility Institute. Yeah, there is a company called Fertility Institute, and they perform fertilization techniques for couples who want a baby. And they also let them, this is gonna sound weird, choose their gender and choose their traits and choose whatever they want their baby to have, whether it's their father's personality or their mom's personality or their mom's eyes but their father's chin or vice versa. Well, the technology isn't really that old, so how do you think it should do? Of course, trait technology hasn't existed yet. You can't create traits for a baby yet, but it is around the corner. That's a bonus. And they use birthing techniques and the in vitro fertilization. As from what I've heard, they have their own website. And what about CyroBank? They're based near Harvard and MIT. Why near these universities? Well, CyroBank is a bank of sperms, and they usually take donors from universities like Harvard and MIT. Duh. On the website, they just scan the sperm and then figure out what that sperm's traits could be. And they do have some requirements, the director of CyroBank said, the founder of CyroBank said this: if they want high school dropouts, we'll give them high school dropouts. What? No one probably knows where he got this, probably from his mind. But then again, you don't really understand a person's mind, do you? This technology can also be used to save humans. This kid named Zain Hashmi had a rare blood disorder that lacked making the substances that was needed to transport iron across his bloodstream. And this isn't common. I already said it's rare. Yeah, it's rare. And so his parents decided that he needed a new stem cell which can create a bone marrow, which he desperately needed. And you know what decided to do? They decided to try to make, a clone of Zain, and then use that baby's bone, umbilical cord to create stem cells in Zain. That would probably kill the baby, but then again, it's for the good of Zain, right? They decided to go on to Britain because they couldn't find any donors. They went to Britain and to a company that would let them, that they needed their permission from. It's called HFEA, the Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority, to get permission to create a new child specifically to actually save their son's life. And the UK, this case involves embryo screening, needs approval of that place, of that company. Yeah, not exactly a company, but then it's a authority. This procedure would actually include creating several embryos, testing them, and find one that's genetically similar to Zain Hashmi's. Then the embryo would be put into Zain Hashmi's mom's womb, and when she gave birth, they would use the umbilical cord to get some stem cells and inject them into Zain. This actually started a legal case between Zain's family and their legal doctor and a group called CORE, which is short for Comment on Reproductive Ethics, which believes all embryos should be protected, as it's the equivalent of having a baby for spare parts. A good book to go into the ethics of this is The House of the Scorpion. I already made a video about that book on my channel already, so go check that out. Back to the debate. Hot topic. Now let's talk about in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization is actually how I was born. At least according to my mom. First of all, they stimulate the ovaries, and then they take them out. Basically called follicular puncture. That's probably not painful, I think, right? I'll search that up. I'll Google that up later. Then they prepare the semen preparation. Then they prepare the semen, which is basically sperm. They fertilize the eggs on the next step and let them do embryo culture. And then finally they reinstall the embryos sorry about that, I don't know what happened. Into the womb. Yeah, like right there. And the first baby to be born in vitro fertilization was in 1978. The exact date is 1978. Yes, it is 1978. And her name was Lois Brown. Back then, that process was still experimental. So she was dubbed by the press the test tube baby. And here she is at, currently she's probably, 24? No, 44, 45 or something? Yeah, I don't know her exact birthday, but she's, somewhere in between that age. And what are the uses of in vitro fertilization? Now let's go into the pros and cons here. These in vitro fertilization and other types of making babies will be able to give parents who are incapable of getting a baby by themselves or having weak semen, at least for the male person, or infertile male could be able to use this to cause of infertility. Turns out, according to my mom, my dad, he was pretty old when he decided to have me. I mean, he was somewhere between 40 or something. Decided that his semen, his sperm wasn't fast enough to crack into the ovary and the egg and fertilize it. So yeah, and they decided to do in vitro fertilization. They had 3 fertilized eggs. They put them into my mom's womb. Awkward. One just fell off. The other one, who was supposed to be my brother, just got a sickness and just shrank into nothingness. At least according to my mom. And then the third one, me. I'm here today making a YouTube channel. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Mom, for having me. Speaking of inheriting traits, when the trait selection technology exists, this way, parents could create their child with traits that they want their children to have, whether it's high IQ or something. Now let's go into the cons. That would mean that no one would be able to have their own personal personality. Sure, you might want to be a mentor, but then again, it's nature who decides it, isn't it? I mean, you could be a shaper, analyst, anchor. Do you really want control of your life? I do. And now let's get into some ethics. Some of these violates ethics rules. Some people might think it's common sense to not do this. And babies are lives. And just because you made a clone doesn't mean he or she's, well, depending on the gender, he or she's a spare part. As I already said, if you want to learn more about the ethics in this, you could read the novel, The House of the Scorpion, and then the sequel, The Lord of Opium. It's a classic. That's all I'm going to say. Although in some cases, I think it's a bit necessary. What do you think? Do you think designer babies are the future? Maybe everyone will be... I mean, Marvel already said that the 31st century has... Your average human in the 31st century will basically be as strong as Captain America. At least according to Marvel. Do you really think that's going to be possible? Do you really think that's going to exist? Don't stress over it. Because now it's the end. Shimon out. Peace.